Saturday morning in the suburbs outside Nashville. I was in my living room, sitting on the couch, lacing up my sneakers while a mug of coffee sat on the end table getting cold. I had a plain, ordinary plan for the day. I was going to grab groceries, stop by the hardware store, and maybe cut the grass out front if the weather stayed dry. Nothing exciting, just regular adult stuff. The kind of schedule a man keeps when he is the one paying the mortgage and handling the house. My wife, Amber, was standing near the bookshelf with both arms folded across her chest. She was not reading anything. She was not even looking at me like a wife looks at her husband. She looked more like a supervisor getting ready to dismiss an employee. Then she said, "I want a divorce." That was it. No lead-in, no trembling voice, no tears in her eyes. She said it in a flat, steady tone, like she was reminding me to take the trash can to the curb. I did not leap off the couch. I did not ask her if she meant it. I finished tying my shoe, pulled the knot tight, and looked up at her. "All right," I said. "That is one way to start a morning. Now tell me why you think you get to walk into my house and say it like that." Her lips pulled tight right away. "See? That is exactly what I expected," she said. I looked at her. "What exactly did you expect?" She gave a short shake of her head. "This. You acting calm. You acting like none of this touches you. Like you are above the whole thing." Then she tilted her head, and I saw it plain as day. Contempt. Cold and sharp. "You should have known this was coming," she said. "We have been dead for years." I leaned back against the couch and let the room stay quiet for a second. I was not trying to punish her. I was studying her. A man learns more by letting silence do its job than by rushing in to fill it. Finally, I asked, "Why now?" She let out a little scoff, like my question irritated her. "Because I am tired of living with a man I can predict down to the word," she said. "I know what you are going to say before you say it. You are safe. You are routine. You are boring." I gave one small nod. "So you are leaving because I am stable?" Her face hardened. "No, I am leaving because you are empty. You do not make me feel anything. You do not fight for me." There it was. I heard the setup in that sentence. It was one of those traps where every answer gets used against you. If I raised my voice and argued, then I would be the controlling husband. If I stayed level, then I would be the cold husband. She had already picked the part she wanted me to play, so I kept my voice steady. "If you are leaving," I said, "then leave all the way. Do not stand there and package it like you are doing something noble for me." Her eyes narrowed. I could tell I had stepped outside the speech she expected me to give. "It is not noble," she said. "It is reality." "Reality," I said, "is you standing 10 feet away from me like a judge reading out a sentence." I glanced toward the kitchen counter. She had her phone there, face down, and a legal pad beside it. That told me enough. "You have already worked this out in your head, Amber," I said. "This is not some emotional moment." She held my gaze a little too long, and then she said it in a casual tone, like she expected it to impress me. "I already talked to somebody. A professional. I am not stumbling through this." I let out a small breath through my nose. Not because it was funny, because it told me exactly what this was. It was not a breakdown. It was not a spontaneous decision. She had planned it. "Understood," I said. "So you did not come in here to discuss anything. You came in here to begin collecting." Her jaw tightened. "Do not be dramatic." Dramatic would be me begging you to stay after you called me boring. I got on my feet slowly. There was no reason to rush. I had all day. "Here is what happens next," I told her. "We separate the right way. We communicate in writing. We do not make up new rules every morning based on your mood." She blinked, and for a second I caught something shifting in her face. First irritation, then calculation. "And one more thing," I said. "You are not going to tell people some story about how I was emotionally absent while I am still paying for the house, the utilities, and the whole life you enjoy." She curled her lip at that. "There it is," she said. "Money. That is all you have." I walked past her, went to the hall closet, and took out the notepad I used for house projects and repair lists. I carried it to the dining table, laid it down, and set a pen on top of it. "Temporary house rules," I said. "You want out, fine. But we are not going to act like a married couple while you are halfway out the door. You sleep in the guest room starting tonight. We split groceries. We review every joint bill. I will keep paying the mortgage until this gets sorted out because I am not wrecking my credit over your new phase." She pushed herself away from the shelf like she had been insulted by the room itself. "You do not get to decide all that on your own," she said. "I absolutely get to decide what access you still have to me," I said. and I get to decide how much peace I am willing to sacrifice. She opened her mouth, stopped, then shifted directions. So that is it, she asked. You are not even going to fight for us. I am not going to audition for a role you already cast, I said. You already talked to your professional. Good for you. Sounds like this marriage already got voted on without me. She took one step toward me, like being closer would make her words stronger. You really do not care, do you? I looked right at her. I care enough to be direct. She stared at me for a long moment, then turned and walked toward the kitchen like she needed a different part of the house to feel in charge again. Fine, she said. I will start the process. Start whatever process you want, I said. Just remember one thing. If you leave, then leave honestly. Do not smear my name around town just to make yourself feel righteous. She looked back over her shoulder with a little smile that never reached her eyes. You always think you can control everything. I picked up my keys from the table. Not everything, I told her. Just myself. Then I headed out toward the garage. As I opened the door, she called after me in a bright voice that sounded practiced, like she was already rehearsing for an audience. One day you will thank me. If I had known then where all of it was headed, I probably would have written that line down and framed it next to the mortgage papers she had never once bothered to read. The week after that felt less like the collapse of a marriage and more like the closing phase of a business deal. That was the tone she wanted, so that was the tone she got. Cool, efficient, formal. I stopped sleeping in our bedroom. I stopped pretending over breakfast. I did not trail her from room to room asking for reasons like a man trying to submit an application for his own marriage. I changed my routine. I started getting up earlier and going to the gym before sunrise, before she was even awake. I was not going to spend my mornings standing in the same kitchen with somebody who looked at me like I had become a problem she regretted buying. By Wednesday, I met up with my friend Travis at a diner off the main road. Travis is the kind of man who repairs truck engines for a living and somehow ends up repairing people in his free time. He listens the same way a mechanic listens under a hood. Quiet, patient, waiting for the loose part to show itself. He slid into the booth across from me, looked at my face once, and went straight to it. So she finally said it. I stirred my coffee and watched the spoon turn. Saturday morning, I said, like she was reading an alert off a calendar. He let out a low whistle. No tears. Not one. Not even watery eyes. He leaned in a little. That means she packed that decision a long time ago, he said. What does she want? I shrugged. According to her, I am too predictable. Travis gave a dry snort. That word gets used when a man stops being easy to steer. I watched a waitress fill my water glass at the next table. Simple movement. Simple truth. It all felt plain when I stepped back from it. She already talked to some specialist before she even said anything to me. I told him. So she did not come to talk. She came to arrive at a result she had already chosen. Travis tapped one thick finger on the table. Then you handle it like a result, he said. Document everything. Split up the money immediately. Stop bankrolling whatever freedom trip she thinks she is taking. I nodded once. Already started. House rules changed. Everything in writing. That earned me a small approving smile. Good, he said. Because the next move is usually the soft version. I looked at him. Soft version. The one where she eases up, he said. The apology. The calm face. The little bit of warmth. Do not get caught by that. It is not affection. It is a net. I nearly laughed into my coffee. You think she switches that fast? He gave me a look that said I should know better. I have seen this play before, he said. When somebody feels control slipping, they do not always come at you harder. Sometimes they come at you gentler. Turns out he was right. That same night, I came home from work and smelled dinner before I even set my bag down. Chicken on the stove. Real dinner. Not takeout. Not something thrown together. Not food made because company was coming over. She had not cooked like that in months unless there were guests in the house. Amber was sitting at the kitchen island with her hair down. She had on that calm, reasonable expression people wear when they want credit for acting civilized after setting the fire in the first place. I made chicken, she said. I thought we could eat like adults. I put my work bag down by the chair, but I did not sit. We can eat like adults without acting like everything is fine. She sighed, like I was the difficult one. I am not acting, she said. I just know I was harsh on Saturday. I should not have said it the way I did. There it was. The first adjustment. The measured apology. Not messy. Not heartfelt. Controlled. I took a plate from the cabinet and served myself. Noted, I said. She watched me closely. So that is all, she asked. You are not even going to ask whether this can still be fixed. I took a bite, chewed, and answered without hurrying. You told me we have been dead for years. That was not an invitation to work on things. That was a eulogy. Something flashed in her eyes. You always twist everything, she said. I do not twist things. I remember them. She leaned toward me a little and dropped her voice. I am not trying to hurt you, she said. I just want something different. Different, I said. And you expect me to pay for different. Her expression tightened again. That is not fair. I set my fork down and looked right at her. Here is fair. You want out. Then you start building your own landing spot. I will keep covering what I have always covered until everything is official, but that is where it stops. No extra purchases. No new shared debt. No surprise home projects. She stared at me like I had insulted who she was. So now you are punishing me. I gave her a small smile. No, I am clearing things up. Punishment would mean I care about teaching you something. This is just logistics. She stood, pushing the chair back hard enough to make noise without fully losing control. You are impossible. I nodded toward the guest room hallway. And you are sleeping in there tonight, like we agreed. She walked off without answering, but before she disappeared, I caught her looking over the living room. The furniture, the clean floors, the life that looked easy only because I had kept it running. The next grown-up meeting came quick. Amber showed up at a neutral office in Brentwood with a lawyer beside her. He wore a sharp suit, had a sharp smile, and carried a thin notepad like a prop. Amber wore confidence the way some people wear perfume. She kept throwing me that little smirk, like she was waiting for me to finally break. I did not come alone either. My attorney, Denise Carter, was in her 50s, calm as still water, with the kind of eyes that did not blink when someone tried to push her around. She brought a thick folder, and it looked heavy because it was. We sat down. The mediator, Mr. Whitaker, gave the usual speech about productive conversation and respectful dialogue. Amber's lawyer jumped in right after that. Ethan has created an emotionally empty environment, he said, flipping through papers. Amber has felt unseen for years. Amber nodded slowly, like she had survived some long hardship called my steady behavior. I looked at Denise. She gave me a tiny nod that said the same thing her face did. Let them finish. Then use facts. Denise opened the folder. Before we talk about feelings, she said, we are going to talk about numbers. Mortgage payments. Debt reduction. Household expenses. Income contributions. Timeline. Amber's smirk twitched. Her lawyer tried to steer it back. This is not about money. Denise stayed polite. When one person wants the house and continued support, it becomes about money. Mr. Whitaker raised his eyebrows a little, like he appreciated hearing a straight line. Denise slid documents across the table. Ethan has paid the mortgage consistently. Ethan paid off Amber's credit card balances more than once. Ethan also handled a personal loan in Amber's name and covered major property maintenance. Amber leaned forward. I contributed. I worked too. Denise nodded once. Yes, and the numbers show the percentage of that contribution. Amber's lawyer changed direction. Amber's emotional well-being matters. She sacrificed in ways that do not appear on spreadsheets. That was when I finally spoke. Then maybe she should not have called my stability boring while she was resting on top of it. Amber turned fast. Do not talk about me like that. Like what? I asked. Like an adult who notices patterns? Her cheeks turned red. You always make me the villain. I tipped my head. You walked into my living room and told me I should have seen the divorce coming. That was not dramatic. That was cold. Mr. Whitaker raised a hand. Let us stay practical. Amber, what exactly are you requesting? She folded her arms the same way she had that morning by the bookshelf. I want the house. It is the only way I can start over. And I think Ethan should keep paying until I get settled. There it was. Independence, billed to me. Denise did not even hesitate. No. Amber blinked. Excuse me. Denise looked right at her. No. The house stays with Ethan. He has the payment record and the financial foundation to keep it. Amber can receive a fair share of any joint assets, but the house is not a reward for choosing to leave. Her lawyer leaned in. That is aggressive. Denise gave him a small smile. No, that is realistic. Amber turned to me, trying to drag me into an emotional fight. So you are throwing me out? I kept my voice level. You told me we were dead. You do not get to keep the body and ask me to carry it too. Her mouth opened, but nothing useful came out. In a room with paperwork, Speeches do not work as well. Mr. Whitaker studied the documents again. Based on the financial records and property history, the recommendation is that Ethan keeps the home. Amber will need to relocate within a limited timeline. The smirk she came in wearing disappeared all at once. No, she said, almost under her breath. That is not what we discussed. Her lawyer leaned over and whispered to her, but she brushed him off and stared at me. You are doing this to hurt me. I leaned back in my chair. No, I am doing this so you cannot hurt me. Her eyes flashed. You think you are so calm, so righteous. I shrugged. I think I am done financing disrespect. She stood up so fast the chair jumped. This is unbelievable. Denise never moved. What is unbelievable is expecting to leave a marriage and keep every benefit like it is a monthly membership. Amber turned toward the door, stopped with her hand on the knob, and looked back at me with a face that said she was not finished. You will regret this. I did not get louder. I did not chase after her. I did not negotiate. I will not, I said. Regret needs confusion. I do not have any. She stormed out. Mr. Whitaker let out a long breath, like he had just watched something collapse in real time. The smaller aftershock came that night. When I got home, the guest room door was open, Amber's suitcase was gone, and half the hallway closet had been cleared out like she had started counting what she could still take. She was not just leaving. She was repositioning. 2 years can change a man when he stops pouring his energy into a place that does not respect him. The house stayed mine. I refinanced it, painted the living room, and bought a new couch that did not carry the memory of those dead Saturday mornings. I changed jobs too. I moved into a management role at a mid-sized construction supply company. Better office, better money, same steady rhythm. The difference was that the rhythm belonged to me now. I was not apologizing for it anymore. And then there was Hannah. I met her through a mutual friend at a community volunteer event. She was warm without putting on a show, honest without being mean, and she did not test people just to see whether they would perform for her. One night she sat on my porch swing with her legs tucked under her and said, "You are consistent. That is rare." I smiled. Some people used to call that boring. She looked at me like I had said something foolish. Some people do not know the difference between peace and emptiness. That was the moment I knew I was not going back. Not in my heart. Not in my daily life. Not in any part of me. Then Amber came back. It was a Thursday evening. Hannah was inside making pasta, and I was out by the mailbox when a car pulled up too close to the driveway, like it already belonged there. Amber stepped out. For a second, I barely recognized her. The confidence was mostly gone. She still tried to wear it, but it hung on her wrong, like a jacket borrowed from somebody else. "Ethan," she said softly, like we were old friends. I did not move toward her. I did not invite her onto the porch. I stayed on the walkway like there was a line between us. "Amber," I said, "you should not be here." She gave a small, careful laugh. I did not know there were rules. There are now. She looked past me instead of at me. At the porch lights. The trim yard. The quiet house. The peace. "I have been thinking," she said. "Thinking." I repeated. "That is new." She ignored that and tried again in a softer voice. I was harsh back then. I was sharp. I handled everything badly. I raised an eyebrow. "You did not handle it badly. You announced it like a calendar reminder." She swallowed. "I was in a bad place." I nodded once. "You usually were. I just used to carry it for you." Her eyes tightened, then softened again. "I did not find what I thought I would find," she said. "I could not build anything real. And I miss us." Behind me, the front door opened just enough for warm light to spill across the porch. Hannah did not need to step outside. Just knowing she was there changed the air. Her voice came calm and easy. "Hey, Ethan. Dinner is almost ready." I turned my head a little. 2 minutes. Amber looked toward the doorway, then back at me. I could see her taking inventory. "So that is her," she said. "That is my life," I told her. "And you do not have access to it." She stepped forward. "I am not asking for access. I am asking for one adult conversation." I smiled a little. Adults do not show up uninvited after 2 years and call it a conversation. Her voice sharpened. I did not know where else to go. "That is not my problem. You wanted freedom. Freedom comes with handling your own mess." She looked like she wanted to cry, but she was fighting too hard to keep control. "So you are really going to shut the door on me?" I nodded toward the street. "I am going to do what you taught me. I am going to be final." Her face went hard. "You are acting like I am nothing." I kept my voice even. "No. You are acting like I am still responsible for you. I am not. I stepped back, opened the door, and gave her one last clean answer. Goodbye, Amber. Then I shut the door. I thought that would be the end of it. That was my mistake. The next afternoon I was at work when my assistant, Miguel, leaned into my office. He was younger than me, quick with dry humor, and good at reading a room. There is a woman at reception asking for you, he said. She is intense. I kept looking at my screen. Tell her to make an appointment. He hesitated. She says she is your wife. That made me look up. Not anymore. When I walked out, Amber was standing by the front desk like she belonged there. Glass walls. Employees nearby. Plenty of people watching. She wore that polite smile people use when they want strangers to assume they are the reasonable one. Ethan, she said, loud enough for others to hear. We need to talk. Ashley, the receptionist, watched both of us with the kind of expression that said she already hated this. I stopped a few feet away. You cannot come here. Amber glanced around. Relax. I just want to talk like adults. Then act like one and leave. She moved closer, her eyes drifting to the framed photo visible through my office glass. Me and Hannah by the lake, smiling like we had nothing to prove. Amber reached toward the frame. Is that her? I stepped between her and the office. Do not touch my things. Ashley cleared her throat. Ma'am, you cannot be back here. Amber gave her a sweet smile that felt fake from 20 feet away. I am sorry. Are you security? Ashley smiled right back, colder than ice. No, I am the person who calls security. That nearly got a laugh out of me. Amber lowered her voice. So this is what you do now? Replace me? I looked right at her. I did not replace you. You left. She leaned closer, eyes sharp now. She will get tired of your routine too. She will want more. Then you will be right back here acting calm while your life falls apart. I tipped my head. That is a lot of confidence from a woman who showed up uninvited because she misses my house. Her eyes flashed. You think you are safe? I kept my voice low. I think you are trespassing. Miguel came up beside me, casual on the outside, alert underneath. Ethan, do you want me to call building management? Amber's smile twitched. The audience was not helping her the way she expected. She took a half step back, then tried one last dramatic line. You will remember this moment. You will wish you had been kinder. I nodded once. No, Amber. I will remember this as the day you proved you still do not understand. She turned and walked out, heels clicking across the floor like angry punctuation. Ashley watched her leave, then looked at me. Want her flag? Yes. That was not drama. That was policy. When I got home that night, I did not tell Hannah not to worry. I did not ask her to be patient. I handled it like an adult. I checked every lock, upgraded the exterior cameras, and changed a few routines. Not because I was panicking, because boundaries matter. Hannah watched me install a new lock on the back door. Is this because of her? She asked. Yes, I said, and because I should have done it sooner. She nodded, like honesty was enough. Then her phone buzzed, and her face changed. What is it? I asked. She turned the screen toward me. It was a social media post. Pictures of Hannah from our weekend trip. Angles we had not taken. Captions pretending to be concerned while dripping poison. No names, but enough details that anybody who knew us could connect it. The comments were already filling up with strangers inventing stories about our lives. My jaw tightened, but my voice stayed calm. Do not reply. Hannah's eyes were hard. It is her. I know. She looked at me. How long has she been watching? I did not lie. Long enough to find my office. Hannah's tone sharpened. And you did not warn me. That is on me, I said. I misjudged how far she would go. She kept scrolling. Then she froze on another post. This one showed enough of the area near her workplace to make the point without saying it outright. Hannah set the phone down like it might burn her. She was near my studio last week. My head came up fast. What? She did not come inside, Hannah said. She stood across the street and watched, like she wanted me to see her. I let out a slow breath. All right, we are done being surprised. Hannah looked at me steadily. This is not about the past. This is about control. I nodded. Exactly. I grabbed my laptop and started documenting everything. Screenshots, links, dates, comment threads, a clean timeline. No emotion, just proof. Hannah watched me for a minute. You are calm, she said. I looked up. Calm does not mean passive. Her expression softened a little. Good, because I am not living under somebody else's shadow. Neither am I said. New rule. She does not get to reach you through a screen. I am ending this. Hannah leaned back. How? First, we stop treating silence like protection. Second, we take away her ability to deny any of this. Her eyes narrowed, and a second later I could tell she had already made up her mind. I will meet her, she said. I almost objected, then stopped. Hannah was not reckless. She was deliberate. Neutral place, she said. Public coffee shop. I will go alone, Hannah said. She does not get the satisfaction of seeing you step in. That is what she wants. I nodded once. I will stay close. 2 blocks away, she said. Not inside. Done. And yes, she added with a thin smile, I will record everything. The next day, I sat in my truck 2 blocks from a small coffee shop, watching the entrance like I was monitoring a job site. No drama. No hero moves. Just control. About an hour later, Hannah walked out. She moved steady. No shaking. No panic. She got into the passenger seat and held up her phone. She admitted it, she said. My voice stayed even. All of it. Hannah nodded and hit play. Amber's voice filled the truck. Clear. Confident. Almost proud. She admitted the posts were hers. She admitted she had been watching us. She said the goal was to push Hannah out so I would be alone again. She even said I belonged fixing broken things. That Hannah needed to break first. Hannah paused the recording and looked at me. She said it like it was obvious, she said. I stared through the windshield for a moment and let it settle. No guessing. No half-truths. Just a clean confession. I nodded once. Okay. Hannah studied my face. That is it. Just okay? I looked at her. Okay means it is over. That evening, the doorbell rang. I checked the camera on my phone. Amber stood on the porch, dressed like she was heading somewhere loud. Hair done, outfit trying hard, face set like she came to win something. Hannah stood beside me, calm. Want me to answer? She asked. Yes, I said. I am right here. Hannah opened the door, but did not step back. She stood her ground like it was her home, because it was. Amber's eyes moved past her, scanning inside like she was checking what still belonged to her. Hannah gave a polite smile. Ethan, your ex-wife is here. Looks like she wants you back. Amber's face tightened. Excuse me. I stepped into view behind Hannah and held up my phone. Hello, Amber. Her eyes locked on me. So now you hide behind her? I ignored that. I tapped the screen and turned up the volume. Her own voice filled the porch. The recording from the coffee shop. Every word. Every plan. Every line about breaking Hannah first. Amber went pale right there in front of us. Turn that off, she snapped. Hannah stayed calm. That is you. Amber's eyes darted. She tried to move fast. You recorded me? That is pathetic. I looked at her like she had missed something basic. You confessed. She documented it. That is not pathetic. That is responsible. Her voice rose. You were trying to make me look unstable. You handled that part yourself, I said. We just saved the evidence. She pointed at Hannah. This is what you do, Ethan. You always pick the easy, safe option. She is just temporary. Hannah did not flinch. I am not temporary. I am the person you try to target. Amber snapped her gaze back to me. So what now? You think you can erase me? I nodded once. Yes. She opened her mouth, then changed tactics fast. Ethan, I made mistakes. I was upset. I cut her off, calm and direct. I am not discussing your feelings at my front door. She stepped forward like she might push inside. My voice sharpened just a little. Stop. She froze, then laughed bitterly. Wow. Now you are strong. I held her eyes. Here is the line, Amber. You crossed into my new life. You went after someone who did nothing to you. That ends now. Her eyes filled, not with sadness, but with anger. You will regret shutting me out. I did not raise my voice. I did not explain. I do not choose you, I said. And I am not opening this door again. She looked at me, then at Hannah, then back again like she was searching for the version of me she used to control. He was not there. Hannah's hand rested lightly on the door, steady. Amber's face twisted. You think you are winning? I gave a small, tired smile. No, I think I am finished. I nodded once. Hannah closed the door. Not a slam, just a clean, final click. Through the door, I heard Amber's voice rise once, then fade as she walked away. Her heels lost rhythm on the porch like she could not decide whether to storm off or fall apart. I locked the deadbolt. Then I turned back toward the kitchen. Dinner was still warm. My life was still intact. 2 months later, the noise online died out, like it always does when it cannot feed on reaction. Hannah stayed steady. Her clients stayed. My workplace stayed quiet because I had already set clear boundaries with security and management. Amber did not get a second act. 2 years after the divorce, I was sitting on that same couch. New cushions, new peace. Hannah sat beside me with her feet tucked under her, reading. The house was not a trophy. It was proof. Stability is not boring when it is yours. I only heard about Amber once after that, through a mutual acquaintance. She had moved a couple of times, changed jobs, burned through a few connections. Nothing dramatic. Just the slow results of trying to build a life on control instead of character. I did not feel satisfaction. I felt relief. Because the best part of my life now is not the house, or the job, or even the quiet evenings. It is this. Nobody in my home treats me like I am an obligation. And if they ever tried, they would find out how fast a calm man can become a closed door. Here's what I learned. First, tone tells you everything. When someone delivers a life-changing decision like they are reading a schedule, they are not opening a conversation. They are testing how much they can take while you stay polite. When Amber told me I should have seen it coming, that was not honesty. That was her trying to make me responsible for something she had already decided. The right move was not arguing. The right move was setting structure immediately. Separate spaces. Written communication. Clear limits. Second, action beats reaction. If I had waited for her next move, she would have controlled the pace. Instead, I changed the structure right away. Financial limits. House rules. Later, workplace boundaries. Not emotional scenes. Policies. People who rely on pressure do not like policies, because policies do not bend. Third, never ignore a threat to your new life just because it comes from your past. Amber did not come back out of respect. She came back because she wanted access to the stability she used to criticize. When she could not get it directly, she tried to apply pressure through Hannah. The wrong move would have been arguing, explaining, or hoping it would stop. The right move was documentation, protection, and removing any chance for denial. Comfort is cheap if it costs your dignity. Peace is expensive, but it is worth every bit of it.